welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live. Yes, all the way live from Black Pearl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. Wow, I haven't come to y'all and talked to y'all in a while. We were in the middle of reorg, so I wanted to kind of finish that up before I came back to you because I wanted to be able to share with you all the good news. One, yes, I had put my hat in the ring to run for Marion County Party Chair. It didn't quite work out for me, but congratulations to Mila Eldridge, who will be the returning Marion County Party Chair. Also, congratulations to Wes Brown. I'm telling y'all, I'm so excited for Wes Brown. Wes Brown was my pick to be vice chair, and he won. So I'm really excited about that. Shout out to my fellow Stonewall board member, Keith Potts, who is now the secretary of the party. And of course, LaDonna Freeman, who switches over from secretary to treasurer, who is also our trustee. I think our central committee is in good hands. I think we'll be able to get some things done if we all rally around them. We have to rally around them. All right. Congratulations to Ashley Gervitz and Mitch Gore, who are our 7th district chair and vice chair. And then, of course, at the state level, Senator Talion won the election for state party chair. Alex Narinda won vice chair. Aaron Retiff is our secretary. And, of course, Michael Griffith, the wonderful, wonderful, amazing Michael Griffith from the up in the region is returning as treasurer. Look, guys, I get it. Some of you did not like the outcomes of any of those elections. I get that. But we can't be fighting each other, though. Real talk. We can't be dropping bombs on each other. And nobody is resigning. Nobody's resigning. Okay? And nobody's going to be forced to resign. So here's the thing. If you want to be a part of the process, then run for precinct committee person. Don't wait for somebody to choose you or think you have to be friends with somebody to make it work. Run. Put your name on the ballot. Don't complain and bitch and moan. Put your name on the ballot. And then you'll have a say in what happens up the chain. If you didn't put your name on the ballot and you're just upset, ask yourself, what did I do to get my candidate across the line? And that goes for all levels. I was actually on the ballot, and some of y'all are acting worse than me, and I'm the one that actually lost. I'm okay, because I know that politics is about winning and losing. But the whole goal is to be in a position to help elect more Democrats who are going to write good policy. So stop wasting your energy. I know you're mad. Stop wasting your energy fighting other Democrats. I don't get along with every Democrat. There are some Democrats I despise, and they know who they are. But that does not mean I am not going to continue to do the work that's necessary to move our party forward and move our state forward, because we are really humans. We are under attack right now. What is happening at every level of our government, except for Marion County, what's happening at every level of our government is anti-democratic. We literally have an apartheid-loving South African immigrant fascist who gives Nazi salutes in Germany, calling the shots in our government. And you want to get mad about this? Listen, I've listened to a lot of people talk about, well, Democrats and Schumer, they needed to stand pat and they needed to stand strong and not vote for that continuing resolution and shut the government down. Listen, I understand what you're saying. That continuing resolution is terrible. It is awful. It is horrible. But Democrats, you are thinking about things because you are playing by the rules. See, you're playing by the rules. The rules say, we don't vote for this. We shut it down. We come back together and then we reopen the government. The other side is not playing by the rules. They're not playing by the rules. They are literally shutting down whole departments. So what makes you think if they shut the government down that it will actually reopen again? Oh, I know you want to stand on principle because it's a bad continuing resolution. But what makes you think these people who are not playing by the rules will actually reopen the government? And then if it does reopen, what would it look like? Because you are playing by the rules. You are playing by the constitutional rules that have been established for this country. They are not. They are not. You should recognize that you're messing around with people who will do anything to destroy the democracy that exists as it is. And then if we don't have somebody inside watching and being many roadblocks to the destruction of our government, then what? Everybody, all the federal workers are gone home. There's nobody inside watching. Y'all good with that? The continuing resolution was terrible. It short-sights our Medicare, Medicaid, and it puts our elders in harm's way. The clown is looking to dismantle the Department of Education. These things are happening, but with the government open, we can actually stop some of this. I feel you. That CR was terrible, but you are playing by the rules. They are not playing by the rules. You shut this government down, it may not reopen. It may not. And for people like me, the people on the margins, the brown and black people, the LGBTQ plus community, the women who don't have control of their own bodies, this could be detrimental to our existence. I need y'all to understand this. Mike Braun is applauding this nonsense. He thinks this is great. We should shut down the Department of Education and take it back to the states. Well, the last time the states were allowed to run willy-nilly over the education, black and brown people were denied an education. And you see that they are literally diverting public dollars to private institutions. They are already underfunding teachers. These people do not care about you. But they keep voting for him. See, I want us to understand. You have to look at the big picture sometimes. We can always stand on principle. I get that, but you've got to look at the big picture sometimes. And these clowns don't care about you. So this is why I'm saying it is so important that we stop fighting each other, Democrats. We stop it. And we come together and rally around and offer support to the people who are leading our party. And then the more of us that get involved, like, Wes Brown wasn't supposed to win the vice chair of the Marion County Democrats, but he did. That's one. We can continue to make change, y'all. But you got to show up. You got to get involved. You got to stay active. You can't wait for somebody else to do what you can do. I've been preaching it since I've been with mics in my face. No, we're not always happy with the outcomes. We don't always like the decisions. But that doesn't mean that we don't stay involved because our democracy depends on it. Our democracy depends. And what does that mean? What does that mean? For some people, it's no big deal. But for me, it means they literally could come in my home and try to snatch me out because I'm not who they think I should be. Do y'all not understand that? I read a history book. Watch a lot of documentaries. I know what happens next. So if we want to prevent this from happening to us, let's stop fighting each other. Let's rally around each other and figure out how we're going to elect more Democrats who are going to write good policy that improve people's lives. All right, that's my rant. So today's show is a little segmented. First up, I had the opportunity to spend some time with Debbie Asberry of Hoosiers for Democracy. And we talked about the Saturday event, the People's Town Hall, that is tomorrow, with Friday or Saturday. So that's going to be the first segment. And then I was up in Allen County last night Had a chance to talk to the Allen County Young Dems to get them fired up. And I did a little interview with the president of the Allen County Young Dems because I think she's a rising star. I think we need to pour more into her and help uplift her. She's not going to get it all right, but we have to be there to be a guiding light, especially as old heads. I'm excited about what she's bringing. So I'm going to bring those two interviews to you, and then we'll wrap it up after that. All right, here's my interview with Debbie Asberry. Hey, everybody. You know, I am super excited about this conversation we are about to have right now. You know, a lot of you guys have been telling me, Dana, where can I go? Dana, where should I be? How can I help? How can I get involved? Well, there's an event coming up on this Saturday and a way for you to channel that energy. And it is Hoosiers for Democracy is hosting a People's Town Hall Saturday, March 22nd from noon to 2 p.m. at the Broadway United Methodist Church, 609 East 29th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46205. This is a way for us as a community to come together. And I have with me one of the coordinators of this event, Debbie Asberry. Debbie, welcome to Turn Left.
Thanks, Dana. It is so good to be here and to be with you.
You know, I love talking to doers. I mean, there's some talkers. I know I'm a talker, but I'm also a doer. But it seems like you are a doer. Debbie, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Well, as you said, I'm Debbie Asberry. I live in Indianapolis. I have been here most of my life, but was actually born in California, so I sort of wear that brand pretty proudly. And grew up in Texas and Colorado. So I'm sort of a vagabond as a young child, but I am retired from my consulting practice for the most part, semi-retired. I still have a few clients that I work with around the country, but my background is in emergence and systems and social systems and how to create networks for social change. And so as I transitioned out of my work life into my what I thought was going to be more of my writing life and slower lifestyle, everything has been happening since 2020 and then 2024. So I co-founded Hoosiers for Democracy in 2022. We went live with our Substack in 2023, I think, in anticipation of the 2024 election, as a way to get information out to voters and to help them understand the extremism that had taken a stronghold in our state government already. At that time, when we first started publishing, Biden was still president, but sort of warning about the creeping authoritarianism. And so I have shifted from full-time paid work to full-time non-paid volunteer social activism, trying to help preserve democracy and our democratic institutions and way of life.
So I called you a doer just a moment ago, and I hear your background and I hear your story, but what fuels you? Why is protecting the democracy so important to you?
I worked for 8 years as a member of the League of Women Voters, so like from 2013 to 2020. And it really was a New Year's resolution. I have 2 grown sons, and my younger son keeps saying, this all came out of a New Year's resolution. And the New Year's resolution in 2013 was to find other groups, other organizations that were committed to supporting our democratic way of life. Because now 2013 seems like halcyon days, right?
Right.
But at that point, I was very concerned with the gerrymandered districts in Indiana. And I had met Julia Vaughn of Common Cause, and she had talked a lot about gerrymandering. And she had said in 2013, because of just the way that things were, that we had a chance to create more of an independent commission in the state of Indiana to help us draw our lines in preparation for 2020. So in 2013, we were looking at 2020. Okay. And we worked for 8 years and created a coalition called All In for Democracy, a broad-based coalition of other advocacy groups. And we did amazing activism and advocacy and promoting to try to get a change in the redistricting process in Indiana. And we worked, Dana, I won't go into the story of it, but it was impressive. And we did great work. And it didn't make any difference in the State House. And that's when I shifted in 2020 to say our focus needs to be different than traditional advocacy Because in traditional advocacy, you are assuming both parties have an equal stake in our democracy. And those 8 years taught me that was a false assumption.
Yeah, you can tell that because you can see how folks who have, a Harvard, Yale, Princeton law degrees are literally just tossing away our Constitution for personal gain, or the fact that they don't want to lose an election to the far right. And they know they're constitutional scholars supposedly, but they're willing to toss it away. Or we're seeing Supreme Court justices who are taking bribes and ruling on cases, and when there's a clear conflict of interest, like they don't already know that they are supposed to be upholding the Constitution, and that was the oath they took. So talk about some of the work that Hoosiers for Democracy looks to do, that it has been doing, because you obviously understand having a long-term vision, having worked with Julia Vaughn back in 2013. Talk about some of the work that you envision for Hoosiers for Democracy.
Well, we originally started it mainly just as a Substack, and let me clarify that, because that's sort of a new term. Substack is really just an amazing platform for writers and for activists that is not algorithm based. And so you write this amazing hopefully amazing newsletter, and it also can be video, it can be live, and you write information, and then it lands in people's inbox. But it's not algorithm generated. And so if a person likes it, like Dana gets it in our inbox, we might have blazingly signed you up without your knowing, but saying, hey, Dana, we sort of signed you up, and if you like it, so, just continue to be a subscriber, but if you don't, unsubscribe. And the reason we did that was just to help educate Hoosiers about the creeping authoritarianism. We thought at that point, when we launched the Substack, that basically our delivery would be information. And we structured it, though. We structured the Substack to be, what do you know? Our the way we do our writing. Did you know? So that was the information piece. But as my background as a consultant, I know that you have to make meaning in what's happening in the day-to-day events. So the second part of our letter will always be, why does it matter? And what we're trying to do there is connect the dots for people because they're busy. Right? And then the last piece is, what can you do? Because our assumption was that people want to do something, but they don't know what to do. And so every article that we write, we will have something that you can do in 3 minutes, or an organization you can join, or another great piece of information writer like yourself, a podcast and other Substacks that people can subscribe to. And so our initial thought was, it's basically information. After the election, what we realized is that, or really not realized, but just sort of has happened, we've become more event planners. Now, that's not in our wheelhouse. And so It takes a lot of work, and we have a few people doing this work. But you were with us on the inauguration day because it became clear we, as Hoosiers for Democracy, could not normalize that inauguration. And the inauguration day was Martin Luther King's birthday. Yeah. And so we made a decision in December, we're not going to stand by and just let this happen. And literally, Dana, 4 of us planned that event that you were part of, 4 people.
Wow. And you had such a diverse group of speakers, which is one of the things I really, really appreciated. And I mentioned it that day, that it was you painstakingly made it a point to bring diverse voices into that space. And I thanked you guys that day. Basically you get this bunch of volunteers just coming together. Let me ask you this, though. I know that I am a party person. Everybody knows, you see Indiana's own Dana Black, you know that she is a Democrat. Tell me why you decided to create this organization versus working directly with the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I'm not even going to know. I'm not even going to say if you're a Democrat or Republican. I'm just hoping that, you're on my side. But
of course I am. So I want to go back to the party part, because on January 20th, we had amazing singers from the opera. And the music was just amazing. And I captured you on a personal video, and you were in your seat. And I mean, you are like dancing, and it's just written on my heart.
Yeah, rhythm is a dancer. That's me.
And so my tenure from 2013 to 2020 taught me that when you are a 501c3 or 501c4, you and are listed as a nonpartisan entity, you have to be very careful about the way that you talk about politics and the way that you do or do not promote any one party over the other.
Okay.
And in 2020, what I realized as a consultant and a scholar in systems and networks and social change and movements, my background has really become, or my passion since about 2016 has become prophetic movements.
Mm-hmm.
And how prophetic movements have always changed the culture.
Right.
And
right.
so I realized that being nonpartisan was actually a trap if we were having to point out that one party and or a particular governor or other elected official was a part of the problem. And so when you asked me yesterday, are you nonpartisan? And I emphatically said, no, we're not partisan either.
Okay.
But we're not tied by that nonpartisan title. But what we did when we launched Substack, before we ever sent our first article out, we met with Mike Schmuel in Indiana Democratic Party, and we said, would you be our ally? And we will help you flip districts. And we will we will call out candidates, and we just need your help in helping you.
Okay.
And then we contacted every nonpartisan organization that I dearly love: Common Cause, League of Women Voters, ACLU, Women for Change, Moms Demand Action, the Quakers Legislative Committee. And we said to them, be our allies. We, in our newsletter, will call out politicians so you don't have to. And our newsletter is for your members, not for you to endorse as a 501c3 or C4. So that was the way that we were trying to work collaboratively with those organizations who were a little bit tied, not a little bit, a lot tied to what they could or could not do because of the fear of losing that nonpartisan status. And that fear has become now greater, right?
It's crazy. They're coming after every left-leaning nonprofit, 501c3, 501c4. Yeah. I mean, I obviously I can't speak on it, but you see them coming after Act Blue the way they are. Yes. You know, everybody's coming after. They're coming after the opposition in a way that literally we read in history books that could happen if our democracy ceases to exist. So let's get into this. You know, I think the background is always important. So when we are inviting people to a space or inviting people to an event, I think it's always important to get a background about the organization that's putting it on so that they know who they're kind of working with and get an idea. And the nonpartisan question came from someone who I know is a Republican who went on my Facebook page and asked, was it nonpartisan? And I told him, I said, listen, it's a safe space. This event, the People's Town Hall, is a safe space for people who are not, who are credibly frustrated with the apartheid-loving South African fascists who is taking over our government and are the people that are attempting to dehumanize trans people, erase Black history from, education curriculum. But I said, it's a free country for now. You can still come. And because I wasn't sure, but I had to put it out there like that, right? Yeah. Talk about this People's Town Hall and why did you think it was important to put something like this together?
Exactly. Because first of all, I and Hoosiers for Democracy, and we're working very closely with all the indivisible groups that are just popping up all over the state and are very connected with the National Indivisible Group that really came online in 2016. So I have called. First of all, I went to Todd Young's office in January or February because we had the Central Indiana Indivisible Group had scheduled a meeting with Todd Young staff to show up to say, here's what we're concerned about. Because more than 8 people showed up at his building in the Kittle building, the property maintenance people came out and said, we're going to arrest you if you don't leave the lobby because this is private property, right? And we said, well, wait, it is private property, but we're trying to go upstairs to have a conversation with Todd Young. And they said, well, it's private property and there's too many of you and we're going to call the police, which they did. And they threatened to arrest 30 of us activists who were very, very, very polite. And Central Indiana Indivisible, they know their marching orders, they know how to be a nonviolent presence, they know how to work collaboratively with staffers and with people who might be threatening. And so we very quickly sort of said, great, we got, fine, here's what we will do. 22 of us will go stand out in the freezing cold while you allow 8 of them to go upstairs, and we
Wow.
literally stage the visits 8 at a time. So we now have another recess this week. Been calling Todd Young's office, been calling Jim Banks' office, been calling, and here's the nonpartisan, Andre Carson's office. So when y'all showing up for a town hall? No, we don't have any planned, we don't have any planned, we don't have any planned. And so by this time, it's like 2 weeks ago. And I just went, you know what, this is not okay. And so I told one of the staffers in one of the offices, well, you know what, if you decide to have a town hall, that's great, but guess what, we're going to have one without you. And your person's more than welcome to come if it's not a conflict of their schedule. But it's going to be a people's town hall because the people need a place to talk about how their lives have been impacted by the policies of our state governance and our federal governance. And so that's how it came to be. So literally we've had maybe 2 weeks to plan this. And it is a people's event. And so what we want, real life stories of people of how your life has been impacted. There was a great event last night in the same Broadway United Methodist Church that was co-hosted by us and the Central Indiana Indivisible. You should have been there if you weren't. The people were talking to the empty chair and saying to Todd Young, here's how my life has been impacted. So it's not an empty chair event, though, on Saturday. It's more of a let's create community, because Dana, what I know is that what the fascist regimes are trying to do is cause us to be deflated and separated and isolated and afraid and go home and just put the covers over our head, which any moment is what I want to do. And what we want the folks to have happen for them on Saturday is to say, look around. I have people who have been hurt just like me, and I want to connect with them. I am connecting with them because I'm hearing their story. So it's much more of a communal experience of being together in community and conversation. And then we do have processes to get these stories and these testimonies out back to Braun, Banks, and Young.
I love that. I love that because, again, I see the frustration. People reach out to me regularly, and I love that people feel safe, inboxing me their frustration about whatever it is, right? I love that people feel that I'm a safe space, and I try to offer something, whatever I've got, right? Some days I got nothing, right? Because some days you just got nothing, but I try to offer something to them to continue to encourage them to keep moving forward. So I know that you're saying that you have a mechanism to get these stories out, but what are you hoping to get out of all of these people coming together and telling their story?
So a couple things. First of all, for them to understand that they're not alone, and that there is a community, and the community that will gather that day. And we're hoping to be, it looks like we may have 400 to 500 people. The capacity at the church is 750.
Wow.
So they can look around and say, I'm not alone and I'm not crazy. The other thing is that what we are learning from scholars who understand authoritarianism and fascism and the takeover of a democracy by authoritarians and strongmen is that what we can't stand around and wait for the opposition. Right. And I've been a part of it. I've been saying, well, I'll be glad when so-and-so gets their act together and can sort of show up as an opposition party or show up as an opposition candidate, or where are these other groups, or where's the opposition movement? And what I realize now, took a little while, slow learner sometimes, we are the opposition. So that's the other outcome, that we want these 500 people or however many show up to understand you, my friend, have to be the social proof that we are not okay as a people, and nothing about this is normal.
Right.
And we're the social proof. And we're going to give ways in which that social proof can look and can happen. For example, something that I would love to have happen, we've got the American flag flying upside down in our neighborhood. I was thinking, in my house, what if in my little neighborhood, I called my friends together, all parties, because it doesn't matter who you voted for, everybody's affected. Everybody, right? And to call people together and say, you know what, maybe we could have Flag Fridays in our neighborhood, just 2-block area. And every Friday, we either fly a Ukrainian flag in support of the Ukrainian people, or we fly our American flag upside down. And maybe we can grow this so it becomes a 2-block area, or a 3-block area, or a 4-block area. That's the social proof that scholars are telling us are important to do. Wear a T-shirt that says, no bullies for billionaires, right? But have a message that people can understand that, oh, wait, I don't have to talk about fascism or democracy, because sometimes people, they sort of roll their eyes and go, I don't get that. But if you have no bullies for billionaires, everybody's going to know that story, right? Or if you see an upside down flag, it's like, well, what's that about?
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to like frame this just a second. I know that some people are probably listening and saying, "Well, isn't that just performative?" But I want people to remember when Dr. King was in Memphis. And the union workers, the sanitation workers strike, they all had signs.
I am a man. That's right.
And to this day, those signs resonate. Right? When they were marching in the South from Montgomery to Selma, Selma to Montgomery, they had "We Shall Overcome," and they were singing these things. These are in these movements. These are the things that galvanize us. So it's you may think I know there's some people out there, Debbie. I know there are some people out there listening to what you're talking about and thinking it is just performative. But I want people to go back to every movement, every civil rights movement we have had in this nation, whether it was the suffrage movement, whether it was the civil rights movement of the 1960s, whether it was the LGBTQ plus movement, there were always symbols. There were all I mean, goodness gracious, Kent State, the whole thing, everything is about visualizing and seeing that you are not alone. And then eventually, and I talk about this when I do training of people who want to be engaged in civics and aren't actually sure. You gotta have the street advocacy. You've got to have it. See, for example, George Floyd's murderer would not be in jail if not for the relentlessness of the Black Lives Matter movement that said, hey, we are sick and tired of people shooting us in the streets. These movements, these actions, these community actions are what generate change. And that's what Debbie is talking about. So don't dismiss it, y'all, as just performative. These will result in change. And listen, the other thing is, Debbie, we got this remote control society. You push a button. If your PC takes more than, 2 seconds to boot up because you're still on a regular hard drive versus a solid state hard drive, you're going crazy.
Right.
Movements take time.
That's right.
Nothing happens overnight, but people stayed in the fight because the fight was worth it. I just wanted to underscore that just a little bit, Debbie, because I know someone is listening to us talk right now and go, well, that's just performative, because there's always naysayers, right? In every movement, there's always naysayers.
And it's evidence. I mean, if we could just reframe the performative piece to say that's true. It is sort of a performative piece, but I have to be the first mover. I have to be the one courageous enough to hold that sign to say, I am a man, that they did in Memphis, right? Or to hold the sign that says Black Lives Matter. When that movement started, it was 3 women.
Yep.
3 women, right? And because they were the first movers of that movement, then we saw the power of how that movement grew literally overnight. And so I can't wait for Dana Black to tell me what to do. Yeah. I have to be the first mover in my neighborhood to take the courage to say, what's going to happen when I do this? And you know what happens? People walk by and go, great flag. Tell me more about it. What's going on with that? Isn't that a white Christian nationalist thing? It's like, well, it's a distress call for our democracy, actually, right? Yep. And they go, oh, I never knew that. And then my neighbor 2 blocks down, their flag's flying upside down.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so it is important. That is how movements happen. And so you're singing I'm singing your song or you're singing mine. I'm not sure which.
And that's why I'm glad we're going to be in a church, because we're choir singers, baby. I love it. So, I believe that this event on Saturday has the opportunity to bring people together of all walks of life. I know that there are going to be Black people there because I'm going to be there. I know that there are going to be people of different faiths there. Right. I know that there are going to be people who have different gender identities and same gender loving people. We're going to have a mosaic of people there telling their stories. You also mentioned that you wanted to do a live stream portion of this. Talk about that.
Exactly. And so it's a people's movement. And number one, a people's experience. Number 2, we run this, in our flyer, we said, politicians who hide I forget what we said. You'll have maybe the flyers in front of us, but it's not okay to hide from us,
Yeah.
and we will make sure that you hear our voice.
Yeah.
Well, but see that you don't want to make false promises, right?
Right.
And I can't make anybody do anything,
Right.
right? But what we can do is create experiences because people are distracted, and the most of the news that comes it comes on my cell phone, right? We can hashtag and do an at somebody's Twitter handle, and we can live begin to say, I'm at a people's town hall and people here are concerned and things are not okay. Hashtag people's movement, handle Jim Banks, right? And then boom, it's right there.
Okay,
and
so for the people that don't understand, explain the difference between a hashtag and a handle so that they know what that means.
Well, I learned it yesterday, so I'm just like learning into this. But a hashtag sort of helps everybody know who might be on the same page in the choir. Yes, there's a people's movement, right? And so anybody who sort of already knows the hashtag people's movement or sort of part of our club. But if I put a handle, a Twitter handle, and guess what? Jim Banks has Twitter. He has not moved to Blue Sky, and I'm Blue Sky, but I know how to access Twitter. And so a handle is going to access their own particular social platform.
Right.
So it lands, their eyes will see it.
Yep. Well, I honestly, I'm not always sure that the politicians actually see everything.
That's right.
I'm not sure. Sometimes they got people, doing it for them. Like the young Republicans put out a tweet saying, Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican White House. That hasn't happened since 1928.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I know.
Because the Cavs didn't understand what happened in 1929.
We do what we can do, right?
Yeah. So, one of the things I love about this, when you reached out to me about this, is the live streaming and my platform. We can, people want to know, why is it important to record these things? Right. Do you guys remember knowing about the archives where you could go listen to the slave narratives of hearing the stories that were recorded of people who were actually enslaved humans in America? You can go in the archives and listen to Native American stories about what it was like being removed from their native homes, and so sharing those stories adds humanity to the experiences, or the real-time accounts of what it was to be in the Japanese internment camps. Yes, I am equating all of these things, people, because you just saw the other day where the Pentagon is erasing Jackie Robinson from the history books. They're erasing anything that has to do with anything that's not a white male.
The Holocaust. My husband was just saying, Debbie, they're taking away all indications of the Holocaust from the Pentagon. I mean, he's just like distraught down there. And it's like, you know what? Can't go crazy over this. It's like, yep, that's what white fascists do, right? So it's like, there they go, check, data point.
Yeah, and this is why these stories will be so important, because now we will have a history of it. We'll have account of. We're not necessarily putting everything in one space, because I'm going to live stream on my feed, and there's going to be some other podcasters there live streaming. And of course, we're not going to do anything without anyone's consent. We're going to make sure that we have everybody's consent. But then also, Hoosiers for Democracy are going to put together their collage, so to speak, video so that we can share. And we're going to create a history of this movement. We're going to create an archive of this movement. So no one can sit around, Debbie, and tell us we didn't tell you.
That's right. And the really a cool story, Dana, is that one of the folks that we've been connected with Hoosiers for Democracy lives 2 hours away. He's rural, lives in a very rural community, and was sort of saying, sort of to himself, some of this stuff is performative, and I don't know if I can really get on with this or not. And one of our folks, Hoosiers for Democracy, who is so relational, and we know that it's relational advocacy that makes a difference. That's how you grow movements. It's a friend talking to a friend. So she just like, I can't take this, and so she just sent a note back to say, talk to me about that. Let's have a phone conversation. They've had 2 or 3 phone conversations, and this person, 2 hours away, and his name is Kurt Mollett. He has his own Instagram and significant followers, and his followers are from the rural community, not from the urban community. And he is like on fire, and he's coming with his own Instagram account, and he's leading some of the conversation. As a person who's not from Indianapolis, right? Because most of our other people that are helping me are from Indianapolis, but as someone who lives in rural Indiana, and he knows the impact that rural people have, and he's saying, I want to be there, and I'm I'm going to bring people from southern rural Indiana to be a part of this community. That's why it's so important. And when you said there's diverse representation, there will be as diverse as we can be in this moment, having a week and a half to plan it, because that is a part of our values as Hoosiers for Democracy. We took the Ruby training 2 years ago before we ever launched Substack, and the Ruby training is a national organization called a Rural Urban Bridge Initiative, building the bridge between urban and rural neighbors. We are all brothers and sisters. We may have different visions of what's right or what's wrong. We may have different understandings of social policies, but at the end of the day, we're neighbors, and there's more that we hold in common than that separates us. So there will be a significant number of non-Indianapolis folk in this room on Saturday.
And I love that.
Really excited about
I love that. I am, as someone who grew up in Indianapolis, but calls herself Indiana's own, I recognize the significance and the importance of getting outside of Indianapolis, because sometimes we can be in our bubble here in Indianapolis. And having traveled around the state, you're hearing different stories. Like, I love talking to Michelle Higgs of the Rural Summit and the work that she is doing. She was doing work and creating work as she was running for office. I mean, that's dedication. And the other thing is, like, there's so many people out here ready to work, right? There are so many people, and with all these different organizations, that if you want to do something, there is a space for you to get it done. Whether you want to work with a party or work with a nonprofit organization, there is a place for you to bring your talents, like Hoosiers for Democracy. Debbie, this was an amazing conversation. Yeah. Guys, join us on Saturday. I will be there early because I am excited about this. I want to network with my community. I want people to get involved. I want people to get engaged. Give me, before I do the sign off, tell me one thing that I didn't ask you that you want to make sure you share with the people.
Oh, Lordy. Are you coming?
I love it. Are you coming?
Sign up if you aren't. I'd sign up on Mobilize, and you don't have to sign up. Just be there.
Just
Drive
be there.
2 hours. Be there. Be with Dana. You can't miss it. She's going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
With anybody who shows up. Kurt's going to be there. Other influencers are going to be there, and so bring your own. You know what? Bring your own influencer social media platform.
Bring your stuff.
That's right.
Yes, bring your stuff. The Hoosiers for Democracy's People's Town Hall, Saturday, March 22nd. That's this Saturday from noon to 2 p.m. at the Broadway United Methodist Church, 609 East 29th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46205. Please come out Saturday. Let's commune together. Let's communicate together. Let's join forces together, because we are going to protect our democracy. We are going to protect what America stands for. We are going to be the home of the free and the home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave, all the things, because we are going to stand together, and they can't get rid of us all. They can't deport us all. So let's show up on Saturday. Debbie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with us.
You're welcome, Dana. Good luck. We'll see you on Saturday. And the other thing, parking you might have to park a couple blocks away and walk. So come early so that you don't miss a thing.
All right. See you guys on Saturday. Thank you, Debbie.
Bye. Thanks, Dana.
All right. Next up, I have my interview with the president of the Allen County Young Democrats, Bree Andrews. It's a brief interview. I just want you guys to get to know her. She's doing some amazing things up there in Fort Wayne and the Allen County area, and she is a young person that we should pour into. So check out this segment with Bree Andrews. Indiana's own Dana Black. I'm hanging out in Allen County on a Thursday night. I was supposed to come to you live. It just didn't work out in the library, but don't worry. The whole goal of tonight was to inspire and talk to young people. You know what, though? There are young people that actually inspire me. One of the dopest on the interwebs, on the socials, is Miss Bree Andrews. Miss Bree, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing amazing. Because you know what? I'm not stopping.
That's what's up. Tell the people who you are and where you come from. Oh, wait. Let me tell you who she is. She's the president of the Allen County Young Dems. But there's a whole, video piece about her. Go to her Facebook page and watch it. She's doing amazing things. Now, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Yeah, so my name is Bree. I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, born and raised. And I am just everywhere I need to be. Everywhere I'm called to be, that's where I'm at. So whether it's community advocacy, political advocacy, youth advocacy, my people advocacy, I'm everywhere.
You're also a Hoosier Women Forward. I just want to plug it. Hey, applications are going to be opening up in May. You better pay attention and get your reference letters. So tell me, where did all of this activism come from?
I'm a survivor of childhood physical abuse. I'm a survivor of women's violence in SA, and I'm a black woman. So that's a fight every day.
Every day.
And that has fueled every bit of advocacy within me. That is my driving force. I want to be the person that I needed when I was a younger me, and now I am that person.
I love that. I love that. And how did you take your advocacy and turn it into political work?
Wow, so that was a crazy journey. I never thought that my advocacy would align with politics, but it really takes people seeing things within you and calling it out within you and then giving you a position. So I was at the forefront of a blackface incident that went down at one of our school systems here. And I interviewed some of the kids and parents. I partnered alongside them with some protests. And then I went to the school board meeting and I spoke on their behalf and advocated for them to the superintendent in that school board meeting. Someone in the audience was in there and heard me speaking, and then he said, I need you and I need you on my team. He just so happened to be the president of the Allen County Young Democrats at the time.
Okay. Was that Sean Johnson?
Yes.
You know I call him nephew.
Okay.
That's nephew. Hey, shout out Sean Johnson. We love you, bro.
So he saw that in me, and he gave me the role of Director of Diversity and Inclusion. And that just so happened to align with me because I was doing a lot of social justice and racial justice. I'm a lieutenant officer of the original Black Panther Party of Fort Wayne.
Come on.
And I am a part of racial justice coalitions, and I'm a part of a criminal justice coalition called Reform Alliance. And so we have to do that type of work and to have an understanding of that type of work in order to best help our people, because we typically are those disparaged communities that are having to deal with the criminal justice issues and the racial justice issues, and that inherently becomes social justice issues.
Absolutely. And so what does it mean for you to be a young person? Because we're here at the Young Dems. Y'all know I pour into young people because I believe, there's power in young people. What does it mean to be such an inspiration in your community and to be young?
Well, I appreciate hearing that. But
I'm telling you, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on BA, baby. I'm hooked.
Thank you. I really just try to stand in the gap. I want to hear from my fellow young people. I want to hear their perspectives and what they feel, how they're feeling. I want to know what's on their mind, because we are so often overlooked. We are so often not called to the table.
Right.
I am trying to change that. I'm trying to bridge the gap there, because number one, you're not going to be able to overlook me for long. You can try, but you're going to see me. I'm going to come around the corner and I'm going to be there, and eventually you're going to have to speak to me, and eventually you're going to hear what I have to say, and you're going to love it, and you're going to want to hear more of it, and then I'm here to bring my other people, my fellow young people, along with me. This isn't a gatekeeping thing for me. This is how many more people can I bring to the table? If I have to be the first introduction, that is okay with me. I will open the door. I will get the door cracked. I will stick my foot in and make sure it don't close.
Come on.
And then I'm going to start bringing the rest of my people with me so that we're all collectively at the table and we all have the opportunity to have our voices heard.
And I love that, because we talked a little bit about gatekeeping tonight and the importance of bringing everybody in. We just finished with our reorg. We have new party leaders. It's time for those party leaders to reach out to those candidates they ran against or ran on the same ticket, because Nicole always says, I'm not running against you, I'm running for this office, right? We got to bring them all in.
Yeah, please don't stay in your bubble this time around. Please do not stay in your bubble and only speak to those that you think connect to on the same level as you, or that you think have the expertise. Open it up to everyone. Give people a chance, because you're going to be surprised at what you hear. The person that you're overlooking, the person that you don't think has the knowledge, believe me, they have more knowledge than you think, because they have time to go do the research.
Right.
So then they have time to bring something back to you.
And a lot of times people don't want to get down and rock with other people because of personality conflicts. And I'm like, I need people that disagree with me.
Yes.
If
challenge you and then hold you accountable on top of that.
Makes you think differently. Like, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? We're supposed to be growing our
Yes,
brains.
growing our minds. There is no, what's the saying they used to say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That needs to be taken and thrown out the window, because there's always opportunities to elevate something and make it better.
Yes, and obviously our we broke in Indiana. We broke. Unless you in the major metropolitan places, Democrats ain't winning races, so something ain't right. But we have new leadership. I know that there was some questions about all the different candidates, but I still think it's a time to turn over a new leaf. Talk about how Allen County Young Democrats will be working with the Allen County Democrats to achieve our mission as Democrats.
Yes, so I'm a precinct chair.
Okay,
So
come on,
I definitely
PC.
had a vote in the reorg for Allen County. And during that time where they were getting ready to run, the very first thing I did was have a meeting with my young Dems, go over all of the different things that we wanted to ask, that we wanted to see, and that we wanted to make sure they were held accountable to. I put together a list of questions and a list of comments, and I sent it to every single person that was running. And most of them.
That's impressive.
Most of them did respond. There was maybe like one that didn't, and whatever. They didn't win. So everyone else did respond, and those people, most of them did win their different positions. And so not only did we send that initially before they won, then we sent some more after they won, and to the point that the chair then said, we need to have coffee and start talking about this more, because I do want to have young Dems at the table this time around. I want to have young Dems at executive committee meetings, and I want to know what is on your guys' mind and how I can best collaborate with you and best leverage you. And I said that is exactly the type of change that we need, and I will not stop until I see it happen.
I love that. So tell me, do they have, we ran late. I wanted to talk to you for a long time tonight, but we ran late and we're going to get kicked out of this library. And I plan on having you back again.
I will come to you because you came here. I will come to you then.
No, we'll do it remotely. Gas is three.
That works too. That works too.
Gas is $3.23.
I didn't know that was an option.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. We could do it. Well, I always love coming to Allen County.
And we wanted you here anyways. We needed your presence.
But I get energy from young people. Like when you're 54, like you on the other side of cool. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to go get your energy from young people. Young people inspire me. I'm gonna tell you why. I think about what I was doing when I was in my 20s, and it wasn't this. I had just came out. I just discovered my love of women, and like I was like a 16-year-old little boy, just running around, just meeting all the girls, not thinking about nothing, hadn't gone to college yet. So I look at what you guys are doing now, and you're accomplishing so much more than what I did when I was young. So now I'm old and I'm matured and calmed down and all the things, so now I can share life with the young people. I may not, like I tell people, I've only been in the political game for 10 years. But I've been on this planet for 54. I may be new to politics, but I ain't new to humans.
Exactly.
And so it is so important, I think, for us to pour into young people. Y'all, she's going to be a force. Who's Rooming Forward? This session, right?
Yes.
How's that experience been for you?
It's been really amazing to hear from you. Were one of our speakers. Oh my gosh, I was fangirling then. And it's been crazy. Like, I would have never had the opportunity to meet the amazing powerhouse trailblazing women that I have met since being in Who's Rooming Forward had I not been a part of this program. Every single month we have a new meeting where we have a new group of women that are doing amazing things and that are leading the way. And it has inspired me to the point that now that's why I'm so motivated to run for office at this point, because I'm seeing it right in front of me. People sometimes paint things as, well, I don't know if you can win this, and they have this man there, and that man's been there for 15, 20 years, and it makes it look like it's unbeatable. But then you see these women in their different roles. You see Shelley Yoder.
Come on. Those long, yes. I mean, Shelley Yoder is everybody's favorite. I ain't gonna lie. Senator Yoder is like, she texted me today. He was like, well, this weekend, wanting to know if we, the joy.
Hundley.
Andrea Hundley.
Oh my
Andrea, let me tell you what Andrea Hundley did. And so it's easy for candidates or politicians to say, you know what, I'm gonna stay out of this. the county party race because I'm gonna need support from whoever.
Right.
No, Andrea Huntley rocked with me, but she also handed out her endorsement list, and there it was. Like, she put this whole social media with a picture with everybody that she was supporting because she was standing 10 toes down in it. You know, and that's what and here's the other thing. And then when I didn't win, how can I help? Literally. All the things, Andrea Huntley, Shelley Yoder, there's so many more, but those definitely, Fatty Kador, I know he's not a woman, but have you had a chance to meet Fatty yet?
No.
You're going to love Fatty Kadora. But anyway, back to the Who's Rooming Forward. Well, good. This is a ringing endorsement for get your applications together.
It is. It will take you to new levels. Not only the connections with people, the different spaces, the different meeting spaces. We're going to Washington, D.C. I mean, it's a whole new ball game. I mean, initially when I applied, I was thinking we were going to have a different president, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm going to be a part of the group that has the first black female president.
Right?
And that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
But you know what? I'm still excited to be able to be in that type of atmosphere and still hear from the people that are in the White House and then challenge them in whatever ways that we are able to. I'm not going to go too off script for Who's Rooming Forward out of respect, but
That's a power. I mean, HWF has created a network of amazing women in 92 counties. Right? You're a sisterhood. I haven't gone through the program, but I feel so connected.
It's time.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. I always felt like I already had made those connections, and if I go in Who's Rooming Forward, that'd be a slap for somebody else.
You're a speaker anyways. They use you as a speaker because you're the leader, and they want you as the example of.
Well, thank you. But this is a joy for me. Like, every time I read your posts, every time because I'm first of all, common sense. And my mama used to tell me all the time, common sense ain't so common. But you are full of it. You are overflowing. Do you think being a mom has something to do with that?
Yes, not only being a mom, but being a mom at age 18.
Okay.
I became a mom. I told you I'm a survivor of abuse. I'm a survivor of having to be a single parent at a young age, trauma bonding with a high school boy that also went through abuse. I got pregnant my senior year of high school. I did not let that be the deciding factor of what my future was going to look like, and I did not let that deter me from the path, but it definitely caused me to grow up a lot faster. Not only did my childhood abuse cause me to grow up faster, but being a young mom caused me to grow up much faster. And I started seeing things. I started dealing with disparaging circumstances. I felt the judgments. I felt the side eyes. I even got the comments. You know, people are so quick to judge you based on your appearance because I was young and because I was pregnant or because I had a young child. If they would have just taken the time to get to know me and hear the root of how I ended up in my situation, maybe they would have understood more. Maybe they would have come alongside me and mentored me instead of shunned me or looked away from me. And, you know, that's okay. Those that did shun me, those that didn't want to be a part of my life, those that didn't want to connect with me because of my circumstances, that's okay, because room was made for those that were supposed to step into my life. Room was made for those that were supposed to mentor me and guide me into where I'm at today.
Y'all, Indiana's on with Bree.
I want to say one more thing about Who's
Say
Rooming
it,
Forward.
say it.
Who's Rooming Forward? I just want to clap for the people that fought for us, because this year from Fort Wayne, we had 4 black women get accepted into Who's Rooming Forward. That is the most women that have ever been accepted out of Fort Wayne in history.
Come on.
We are usually between 1 and 2 people max, and we finally got 4 women in there.
And what I love about the program is that they're very intentional about being diverse, not just diverse in race and ethnicity, but also geography.
Yes.
And so that's one of the reasons all over the state, and it's about creating this sisterhood in this network. So shout out to the Amy's. You know we love you. Is there one thing that I didn't ask you? Because, again, this is going to be our truncated interview. I'm going to have you back. And we're not going to tell people why, because this is about Allen County Young Dems tonight. Right? We're going to have you back. Is there something that you want to share with the people that I didn't ask you?
No, I don't think so. I just want to say, you know, this is we have a new opportunity to really take advantage of the young people that are at the scene. There's a lot of young people that are frustrated with the current circumstances. Please don't overlook them. Please take the time to speak with them, sit down with them. There's young people that want mentors, but they have been let down so much that they don't have the confidence to come to you anymore. So please go to them. If you see a young person that even has even a little budding of interest, go to them and plant the seed and then help grow the seed. And if you can't be the one that grows the seed, bring someone else in your place that you know can. But don't leave them to the side, because we need them at the forefront. We need us at the forefront in order to create the change that we want to see. We are the change you want to see.
Baby, we are the change, okay? We the change they've been looking for. Indiana's own Dana Black, Bree Andrews up in Fort Wayne, yes. Up here in person, talking to the Allen County Young Dems, because that's what we have to do. We have to engage people where they are. Yeah, y'all know I'll be chilling at the crib in the studio with the, remote, but this was an opportunity to come and talk to people and engage people, and I was so grateful for the invite. But here's the deal. She gave you a mouthful. That's all I got to say. She gave you a mouthful. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace. All right. Yo, listen. Turn Left is trying to bring you the information that you need to stay involved and get involved and be engaged, right? We all have what it takes to change democracy. You can see that we have elder statesmen and Debbie Asberry, who is still busy and a veteran in the game, trying to help us understand advocacy and how we can pull together. And we got young people who are stepping up and taking and assuming leadership roles in our party, in our organizations, to try to help engage and galvanize people, okay? Guys, look, it's going to take all of us. There's no one person. There's no one person that can do anything and everything. There's no one organization that can do any and everything. It is up to us. So hopefully today's show has kind of inspired you to get involved and do the things that you need in your community or in the party to kind of get things going and moving in the right direction. Hopefully you can listen to the call to action and get engaged. Guys, this is it. It's game time. Everything you've been studying, everything you've been working for, it is game time. All right, guys, I want you to mark your calendars. April 10th. On Turn Left, I will have the newly minted state party chair, Karen Talion, right here live. Mark your calendars, April 10th. I will send you out all the information you need. April 10th, Turn Left, Karen Talion, new state party chair. Guys, go out and enjoy your weekend. It's spring. Spring is sprung. You know this is my time of the year. It's going to start warming up. Enjoy the sunshine. In the meantime, I'll holler at you next time. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions. Executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by www.bensound.com.